Trading and Gratitude. A reflection on the power of perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders, I want us to take a moment not to look at the charts, not to examine the next trade, but to reflect on something far deeper than our P&L. Let's talk about gratitude. We live in a world where with the click of a button, we can shift thousands of dollars. A world where the stroke of a key can turn our financial fortunes in an instant. For many of us, this is routine. We trade, we profit, we sometimes lose, but we have the ability to engage in a system that can reward us handsomely. But how often do we stop to think about what this really means? The power that we hold, the opportunities that lay at our fingertips, opportunities that most of the world will never experience. We exist in a space that a large part of humanity cannot even dream of. Think about this. At this very moment, there are billions of people struggling for survival. People who wake up every day, not concerned about market trends or economic reports, but about whether they will have enough food to feed their families. They are not trying to catch a trade, they are trying to catch the next meal. While we debate over percentages, they debate over basic necessities like clean water and shelter. The contrast between our realities is stark. We worry about market volatility. They worry about life's volatility. We get frustrated about missing a trade. They pray they don't miss another day of work that puts food on the table. The fact that we are even here engaged in this discussion, able to trade in the global markets, is a profound privilege. And yet, how often do we feel entitled to our wins, to our profits? How often do we look at a green trade and think, I deserve that, without pausing to consider that the very structure we operate in is a luxury, a gift that is inaccessible to the majority of the planet. When we talk about trading, we often speak in terms of opportunity and risk. But what about gratitude? What about recognizing that we are part of the 1% who even have access to this kind of opportunity? For every one of us who can sit in the comfort of our homes, executing trades and managing portfolios, there are thousands, millions, who will never know what it feels like to experience financial freedom. So why do we trade? Is it just to accumulate wealth for a life of luxury? Or is there a deeper purpose we can equate ourselves with? Gratitude is the lens through which we should view our trading careers. Every click we make, every dollar we gain should not just be a testament to our skill, but also a reminder of how fortunate we are. It's easy to get caught up in the numbers, in the pursuit of more, but if we pause and reflect, we'll realize that our success in trading is built on a foundation of privilege. Consider the technological marvel that allows us to access global markets from a phone or a computer. Consider the education and information we have at our disposal. Think about the time and space we have in our lives to even consider trading as a career or hobby. Many of us didn't grow up with the constant fear of not having enough to survive. We were not burdened by the weight of systemic poverty, war, or other factors that crush the potential of so many. The freedom to trade, the freedom to pursue financial growth is a profound gift. Now, think about what it means to miss a trade. In our world, missing the trade might cost us some potential gains. In someone else's world, missing the opportunity to work that day could mean going hungry. Missing the chance to access healthcare could mean illness or death. While we stare at our screens waiting for the perfect setup, others are staring at a much harsher reality. That should humble us. That should ignite something inside of us. What would happen if we as traders began to trade from a place of gratitude, not just for the wins, but for the ability to even play the game? Gratitude for the fact that we live in a time and place where markets are accessible to us, where wealth generation is possible with the right strategies and discipline. Gratitude for the opportunity to succeed while recognizing that so many never get that chance. Gratitude shifts the way we approach risk, success, and failure. When you trade from a place of gratitude, you realize that every dollar earned carries weight, and every loss is a lesson, not just a setback. You become more mindful of the impact wealth can have not just on your life, but on the world around you. I'm not saying we should feel guilty for our success, quite the opposite. We should be proud of our hard work, our discipline, our strategies. But we should also remember that our ability to trade is a privilege not shared by the majority of humanity. That awareness should foster in us a sense of responsibility, a responsibility to use our wealth wisely, to share our knowledge generously, and to help uplift those who are not as fortunate as we are. Imagine what kind of traders we could be if we operate not just from a desire to win, but from a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the systems that allow us to trade. Gratitude for the capital that gives us leverage. Gratitude for the lives we are able to lead because of this career. Gratitude doesn't just make us better people. It makes us better traders. It gives us perspective. It grounds us in the reality that our financial success is not just a product of individual brilliance, but of collective opportunity. It humbles us in our victories and comforts us in our losses, knowing that we are playing a game that most will never have the chance to play. So next time you sit down to trade, take a moment to pause, take a breath, and remember that in that moment you are one of the fortunate few. Be grateful for every opportunity, every gain, and every lesson learned. Trading isn't just about money. It's about recognizing the profound privilege we have to engage in this space and using that privilege not just for ourselves, but for the betterment of the world around us. Let gratitude guide your trades, and your life will follow. Think about the sheer absurdity of what we do. We watch numbers, lines, and charts, abstract representations of value, and through our understanding of these symbols, we can create wealth. It's almost a kind of alchemy. We transform knowledge into money. While others toil physically lifting, building, farming, or laboring under the sun, we manipulate the invisible, intangible realm of markets, and it yields us financial power. But here's the question, how often do we consider the true cost of this power? We speak of markets as if they exist in a vacuum, but every tick, every price movement, every profit we make is tied to a real world counterpart. Somewhere on the other side of our gain is a loss. Behind the rise and fall of commodities, stocks, or currencies is a global system where entire lives are affected by fluctuations in the markets. Do we remember that? Do we allow ourselves to think about the fact that our trading profits may come at the expense of someone else's financial ruin or hardship? We often view trading as a zero-sum game where someone has to lose for us to win. But what if we approached it differently? What if instead of focusing on the extraction of wealth, we considered how we can reinvest that wealth into a system that is so unequal, so broken? What if our success wasn't just about increasing our own personal fortunes, but about finding ways to balance the scales, even just a little? Our profits give us choices. They allow us to determine how we contribute to the world. The question is, are we conscious of the decisions we make with the wealth we generate? Are we spending it on things that isolate us from the reality of the world's struggles? Or are we using our gains to make meaningful impacts, to bridge the gap between the world we live in and the one that so many others endure? The very fact that we can profit from the volatility of markets is a reflection of how complex and interconnected our world has become. We must remember that we are part of a larger story. We are not separate from the world's struggles just because we managed to carve out success in a niche where others cannot. That is a fantasy and illusion. The wealth we accumulate is still part of the global fabric. If we are not mindful of how we use it, how we contribute to that broader system, we risk becoming complicit in equality. There is a beautiful irony in trading. It is on one hand the epitome of independence and freedom. We are in theory beholden to no one. Our income isn't tied to a boss, a corporation, or a schedule. We are free agents. But with this freedom comes a paradox. The more we isolate ourselves from the realities of the world, the more disconnected we become from the struggles that others face. In chasing financial freedom, we may inadvertently cut ourselves off from the deeper freedom that comes with being connected, empathetic, and aware of the human condition. True freedom isn't just about having enough wealth to do what you want, it's about having enough awareness to understand what really matters. We need to start thinking about trading not as a means to escape the world's problems, but as a way to engage with them differently. With the financial power we generate, we have the ability to influence change. The only question is, do we want to? Our daily grind in trading can desensitize us to this privilege. We can become so focused on strategies, entries, exits, and maximizing returns that we forget we are operating in a world where most people don't even know this space exists, let alone have access to it. And those who have access to it, 90% of those lose money trading. But gratitude isn't passive. It isn't just saying I'm grateful that I'm in the 1%, it's about realizing that this position comes with responsibility. What do we do with that awareness? How do we use our success to affect the world beyond our own bank accounts? Gratitude should lead to action. Gratitude should inspire us to use our success not just for our own benefit, but for the betterment of those around us. Here is a challenging question. How much of your success as a trader would you be willing to give back if it meant creating a more just and equitable world? Would you give 10% of your profits? 50%? Would you give it all? And if that sounds outrageous, why does it? What is it about money, about success, that makes us cling to it so tightly, even when we know that others are suffering from lack? In our pursuit of financial freedom, we must constantly ask ourselves, what is enough? When is the chase no longer about the money, but about something more profound? We're in a unique position to reflect on this because trading forces us to confront the concepts of greed, fear, and excess daily. But do we ever stop to examine these forces in the broader context of our lives? Or do we only see them on the charts? Ultimately, the deepest form of gratitude isn't just recognizing how fortunate we are, it's recognizing that we have the power to give others opportunities they might never have. It's realizing that with every dollar we make, we have the potential to make the world a little less unequal. The privilege we hold as traders should compel us not only to be grateful, but to be generous, to share not only wealth, but knowledge, opportunity, and empathy. In the end, trading is not just about accumulating wealth. It's about learning the delicate balance between ambition and contentment, between independence and interconnectedness. We must never forget that every number on our screen represents something real, that every success we achieve exists within a system where countless others are struggling. Gratitude, real gratitude isn't just about acknowledging our privilege, it's about using it wisely. It's about realizing that we are not separate from the world's struggles, but deeply intertwined with them. And if we can approach our trading with this mindset, with this awareness, we will not only become better traders, we will become better human beings. As I bring this reflection to a close, I want you to think about something much deeper than charts or market strategies. Ask yourself, what is all this really for? If today was your last trade, would you feel fulfilled with what you built? Would your success be a story of personal gain alone, or would it be part of something greater? Have you used this incredible privilege, this power to generate wealth with a click, not just to change your own life, but to influence the lives of others? The truth is, most people will never know the luxury of our position. They'll never have the chance to turn knowledge into financial freedom, but we do. And because we do, we are faced with a choice. Do we see this simply as a personal victory, or do we recognize it as a responsibility? The markets won't remember us. The profits we make, the trades we execute, they're fleeting, lost in the endless flow of data. But how we use our success, how we shape the world around us, that has the potential to outlive us. When the trades are over, what remains? Will you have created something lasting, something that speaks to more than just numbers on a screen? In the end, wealth is not an end in itself. It is a tool to build, to uplift, to contribute. The real question is, what will you build with it? What will your wealth mean in a world that desperately needs more than just another person chasing profit? Will you be content with what you've gained, or will you seek something deeper? Something that leaves a mark? Because real success isn't just measured in the size of our bank accounts. It's measured in the depth of our impact. So ask yourself, in the quiet moments after the market closes, what will my impact be? And how will I ensure that it outlasts me? That, my friends, is the real trade, the one that counts, and is the one we should never miss. End of podcast. Bye.